Yeah, it is more difficult with those that hurt us the most, loving
Yeah.
and forgiving and even relating. Um, yeah. So
But anyways, that go ahead. Another thing that stuck out to me a lot is verse 12.
yeah,
Um, it's like be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Um, so I think the older I get, I'm getting more faithful in prayer. I think that's a big learning process for young. I mean, so that's going better for me in life for sure. Um,
let me.
uh,
Uh,
but
yeah, on this thing of prayer. Um, Jesus uh, told the Pharisees, you guys, y'all just pray out here on the street corner so everybody can see you,
right,
and everybody knows you're doing that. Everybody knows you're just doing it so you can be seen.
yeah.
Now,
I literally had a meeting with cheerleading parents yesterday, and I said some of you in this room do cheerleading so you can live through your children, so you can post on Instagram that you're at competitions and you're doing everything possible for your children and you're going above and beyond, but your tail won't show up to practice. So you really don't care that much about the team and you barely come to practice and whatever, but you post on Instagram so you can be seen, so you make it look like you're the best parent in the world when actually you don't really want to work that hard. And they're just looking at me like, "Oh my gosh, that's what I'm doing." You know what I mean? And I'm like,
he getting up in my business.
"Yeah," but it's the truth, and it's exactly what you just said. Like, all there's so many people that'll like post, "Hey, I'm at church, whatever, yay, great," and then never again. And I'm guilty of that. But like, I don't get my children very often, so I'm gonna be like, "Hey, took my children to church, had a great time, blah blah blah." But I'm going, all the time. But there's some, it's just so it can be seen, like you said.
If we could find the balance of uh, doing what's right, um, and doing it for the right reason. I mean, social media has really screwed us over in our head. I mean, everybody wants to be on the microphone now and be on social media and um,
Call them the keyboard warriors.
yeah. And so, if we could live our life in such a way that we would tell people that we're growing, we went to church or whatever, and something that we're learning from the Bible, and at the same time maintain, uh, um, I say a healthy, and I mean healthy, but also an appropriate and the right degree of humility. I think that's good. I mean, go ahead and share with people that you took your kids to church and hey, here's something I'm learning. Um, but but we want to make sure that we've got that an appropriate and the right degree of humility about that. And so at wrestling practice yesterday, um, we're getting down to the end of the season, and so the head coach looks at me and says, "Hey, Coach Holloway, you got anything?" And and so I just looked at the guys and I said, "With integrity, what?" And several of them said, "Nothing else matters." And then I said, "And without integrity, what?" And they said, "Nothing else matters." And so I looked back at the head coach and that's all I got to say. And so that little phrase is powerful. and that's what we're after. And so God allows us the freedom. He allows us the space to and the grace to follow Him and share what we're learning. But at the same time, we're taking the responsibility of humility before Him and not making ourselves out to be some superhero, super saint that we know we're not. And then so that integrity thing is for those parents you're referring to. They need to be there, and you hit the nail on the head, man. So
Yeah.
and so for while you and I in our position, like you in your position and me in mine, when I see it in somebody else, if I have to, like with guys that I'm discipling, if I see it and I point it out, at the same time that I'm pointing it out, I'm saying, hang on just a second while I get the plank out of my own eye. Give me just a minute. Let me get this 4x4 out of my eyeball here.
Yeah.
And see, that's pleasing to God, and that gives us as Christians credibility with a lost world, because they see the inconsistency in so many Christians. So you're right.
I'm trying to see what other notes. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in 12 that we've already talked about, and it's just reiterating